Bill had a favorite poem by Mary Oliver. She says, "Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. The world offers itself to your imagination. It calls to you like the wild geese." The idea of the world offering itself to your imagination resonated through Bill's entire life. And today, through him, it calls to us high in the clean blue air of his passing. His love of life, of family, friends, his creative places, unforgettable. For Bill was a unique force, like a fresh wind, strong and penetrating, transformative. And it came to him naturally. Wherever he turned, he became involved. In everything he found, he gave everything he had. He connected people, he connected the ideal and the real, and today, for us, he connects the past and the future. Just look around. You'll find a new connection in the eyes of friends and strangers, all friends of Bill's. That's the family. Perhaps by sharing our memories of Bill, we will even see him again, just for a moment, like the wild geese high in the clean blue air.
Thank you.
When Bill was small, we called him Wild Bill. He was a passionate guy, full of life, and he really had a temper. He would throw these fits and wave his arms, and my brother and I would die laughing. So if we got in a tuffle, Bill would win, even though he was the smallest, because we'd be laying on the floor laughing, and he'd just beat us up. That was it, you know?
Explain what was going on and why it was important. I would listen and ask a few questions. He would always have the answers. And then we'd move on to more general topics. He'd already made his point. All right, I get it. You were clear. I'm ready to go. But no, we had other things to talk about. And oftentimes that was specific shows that we'd both seen. We both loved dance, so we talked a lot about that. And as we drifted into that more speculative zone, Bill would become more informal. He would become a little on the whimsical side, a little on the ethereal side, a little on the goofy side. Again, I was a journalist. I wasn't used to people being goofy around me. It was refreshing. Bill got what he wanted most of the time out of me because, in a weird way, that side of him lent credence to the information he'd given me to begin with.
Bill's presence in the world proves we need not to be related by blood to feel like family and become family to strangers. All we need to do is open our hearts, minds, and practice good virtues, so in turn we can have an enduring and positive impact in life.
Helped me, and what helped me was Qigong, but the most that helped me was the fact that he was fighting his condition through Qigong, and the fact that I was able to relate to him because he wasn't able to sleep, I wasn't able to sleep. He was in pain, I was in pain. And when I talked to him about my situation, he was able to hear me. He looked at me and I knew he was listening to me. So Bill, I just want to tell you that I am so grateful because all the way from Colombia, I met my teacher of Qigong, and I remember I told him, "You're my teacher," and he said, "Oh, I'm not a teacher." And I said, "You're even more than that. You're a guru."
Our first speaker referred to the guru, and I think of Bill kind of as a doula. He's a guy that got a lot of things started. He started Artichoke Music as a store, turned it into concerts. First guy at Pioneer Courthouse Square, went to Regional Arts Council. He was a guy that just, as he went through life, he inspired other people, got things moving. Plus, he was a musician and he was a character. So I just wanted to say that I'm so pleased to see that all you guys here, because Bill was loved by so many people. Couldn't all be here today, but the best to Bill and to his family and to Carol, everybody moving forward from here. Thanks.
We had never done a cultural plan in Tucson, at least I hadn't. And so it was kind of new for us. It's a pretty provincial town. But I think what happened in Tucson was that what Bill set spinning was a sense of aspiration and a sense of hopefulness, which I saw as a thread running through his life until he left us. And what was so necessary out of that was to bring folks together to think about ways that we could improve the place that we lived in.
We're talking a lot about his spirit, his warmth, how much everybody would love him and who wouldn't. But he was also a very high-level arts negotiator, which to me those are some of my heroes, because those are the people that raise everything to the level of making art accessible and economically viable, and behind the scenes support a great many of our lives. Of the arts, I don't think he would be a good actor, because he was just one thing, and that was very honest and pure and direct. And he sort of made people trust him in a way. But the thing that was really important that I noted is his superior intelligence. He just really had a way of calculating the art, the economics, the balance of life and culture at the same moment. He had a way of making meetings effective. You left with a resolution. You left with a unified trust. And these are the things that are often, underexposed in somebody like Bill.
So alive, with you by my side.
To 1998. As we move forward, we must draw encouragement from our successes, lessons from our disappointments, and inspiration for our future. The energy to sustain the hard work needed has always, for me, Bill Bulick, come from the astounding talent and courage of our most creative artists and the unwavering commitment of our community leaders. As I look ahead to a new chapter of leadership at RAC, the continued vision and dedication of our arts leaders, and the growing wealth of talent and aspiration of our artists, the future seems bright. It has been a rare privilege to serve in this position. I look forward to participating from a different vantage point in the years ahead. Bill Bulick, Executive Director.
I represent the monkey business side. We had a lot of fun, and it went very deep and had nothing to do with money. We always took care of each other, but I felt so much respect to Bill for his capacity to do what Michael talked about.
And then we had the kind of crazy idea to buy this music store called Artichoke Music together. So we did that, and it was mostly me and Bill working there. Carol would be there occasionally. But it was more of a hangout club, really, for me. It was a tiny little hole in the wall, and people would come by, and, you know, we'd play music in the store. We'd sell a few things now and then. I was reminded that our rent back then was $75 a month. But it was fine. It was great, you know. That's, if that dates us, that certainly, I'm sure that space is thousands of dollars now.
And you know, I might add that one of the things that I saw in Bill that I didn't hear so much about now is sort of the aggressive side of Bill. When it came to crabbing, he really wanted to get those bloody things, bring as many into the boat as we could. And it was really fun to share that with him. So in any case, I really had a great time with Bill, and I'm so happy that we had the opportunity to spend as much time as we did with him.
Speaking for the Macintosh Osborne clan. How many folks here remember Bill Bulick, the potter? Yeah, there's some folks around. He was a hell of a potter. And that's the guy that Carol brought and introduced into our family. That intelligent, humble, creative, empathetic guy. He was a wonderful addition to our family, and we were very happy to have him for many years. I can think of like 24 songs that we often sing as a family. And any of those songs, Bill comes to mind when I sing them. In one way or another, he contributed to that. And so I have this image of him sitting in a chair with his mandolin on his chest, leaning forward slightly with his mouth slightly open, totally engaged with the music that was going on and that musical dialogue. And if you've ever been fortunate enough to make music with family, may not be the best musicians around, but you have that empathy that time brings and knowledge and love for one another that really elevates the music to a magical place. And I really associate that magic with Bill.
Hi, I'm Howard Schiffke, and like most of you, you have a big history with Bill, and I have a short history with Bill. In 2010, I had the good fortune and blessing of a full recovery from Parkinson's disease. And shortly after my recovery, I received a telephone call from a gentleman in Portland. I lived in Tampa, Florida. He said, "Hi, my name is Bill Bulick, and I have Parkinson's disease, and your recovery brings a lot of hope." I said, "Thank you, Bill." And Bill said, "Do you have a little bit of time to answer a couple of questions?" I said, "Sure." About an hour later, I realized that I had learned two very valuable things about Bill Bulick. One, a couple of questions did not mean two. And the other was that Bill intended to be lifelong friends, and I didn't even realize it on that call.
And Bill came to visit for a few days. And he decided he needed to buy a toy for our imminent daughter. Oh, actually, we didn't know it was a daughter. We didn't really care whether it was a daughter or a son, but it turned out to be a daughter. So he bought a toy for our daughter. And this is the toy he bought for our daughter. So I'll tell you a little about this thing. We named it Mr. Zip for reasons you will know in a moment. Anyway, what it does is play zippity-doo-dah when you pull on it, right? So for the next 3 days, for his whole trip, he didn't play this, he didn't pull on it, but he sang, whistled, or hummed zippity-doo-dah pretty much all his waking hours. And when we went anywhere in the car, he would accompany his singing, whistling, or humming by drumming his fingers on the roof, because in those days, not all cars were air conditioned, the windows were open, and so on. By the end of the 3 days, we were really, really tired of hearing zippity-doo-dah. But both of our daughters loved this toy. And so those of you who know Bill, who knew Bill, know Bill was a relentlessly optimistic person. In the face of any adversity, he faced his illness, he faced whatever events with a positive outlook and relentless optimism. And so for you, Bill, wherever you are, I think we're going to hear a few notes of zippity-doo-dah. So, I probably pulled it too far.
Some of you may know this, I'm sure Bill did.
Oh, all the money that e'er I've had, I spent it in good company, and all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night, and joy be with you all. Oh, all the comrades that e'er I've had are sorry for my going away.
To me, Bill was a curious person. He loved learning things. He taught himself instruments, languages, you know, you just never knew where it would end up. And that was a marvelous thing. And he had a beautiful articulateness in speaking that embodied who he was. And he wanted to share from his heart, through his music, through whatever he did. He wanted to have people have that feeling, that what it's like to speak from their heart through the arts, through words, and express themselves, be part of moving everything forward, getting better and better, as Ming Tong says. It is what it is, and it's getting better and better every day.